Hey there and welcome. A lot of people think grammar is kind of boring, but I want you to think again. Today, we're going to unlock some of the most powerful tools in the English language, pronouns and determiners. Yeah, they're small words, but they are the absolute secret to being perfectly, precisely understood. Let's dive in.
So, to show you what I mean, let's follow this guy. He's on the phone with a holiday agent, and he's trying to book the perfect getaway. He's got this picture in his head, right? But finding the right words to actually describe it, well, that's the whole ballgame.
And that really gets to the heart of it. He wants a holiday. Okay, great. But what does that really mean? Is it just for him? Is it for his family? Is he looking for a crazy city break or maybe a quiet retreat? The difference between a dream trip and a total disaster really comes down to these tiny specific words that he and the agent are about to use. So first things first, they've got to establish ownership. Is this my holiday? Are these your suggestions? This is all about possession, and getting this right from the start is the first step to getting on the same page. The key thing here is how we show that something belongs to someone or something else. The general rule is actually pretty simple. We use an apostrophe S for people, like in the girl's clothes, and even for time, like a week's holiday. But for things, for inanimate objects, we usually use of. You wouldn't really say the holiday's price, right? It sounds a little clunky. You'd say the price of the holiday. And check this out. It's kind of crazy how much power one tiny little apostrophe has. My brother's friends means you have one brother. But just by moving that apostrophe after the S to my brother's friends, bam, suddenly you have two, maybe more. That one little mark completely changes your family. Okay, so let's look at two different tools for talking about what we own. A possessive adjective, words like my or your, always needs a noun right after it, my phone. But a possessive pronoun like mine or yours, it stands all by itself. It cleverly replaces the noun so you don't have to repeat yourself. Is this phone yours? Yep, it's mine. See? So much cleaner and more efficient. Here's a really natural-sounding phrase you've probably used a million times without even thinking about it. Instead of just saying, my friends, you can say, some friends of mine. It's just a slightly more, sophisticated way to say the same thing, and it uses that possessive pronoun we were just talking about. So the agent asks our traveler who he's going with, and he says he's a solo traveler. And this, of course, brings a whole new set of words into the conversation, reflexive pronouns. And here they are, myself, yourself, himself, herself, and so on. The reason they're called reflexive is actually pretty straightforward. They reflect the action of the verb right back onto the subject. So the person doing the action is also the person receiving it. Now, getting this right is absolutely critical for the meaning. If you say Amy blamed herself, the blame stays with Amy. But if you say Amy blamed her, suddenly she's pointing the finger at someone else entirely. That one little word changes the entire story from guilt to accusation. So when our traveler says he's going alone, he's got a couple of options. He could say, I'm traveling on my own, or I'm traveling by myself. Both of them mean the exact same thing. He's the only one going on this trip. But, and this is a big but, we need to be careful here. There's a really important difference between reflexive pronouns and the phrase each other. If the two boys hurt themselves, it means they did it to their own bodies. Maybe they both fell off a bike. But if they hurt each other, that implies they were doing it to one another, like in a fight. One is an accident, the other's a conflict. All right, the agent's starting to get a much better idea of what this guy's looking for. So she starts presenting some options. And since she's starting with just two, we're going to need a special set of words that are designed just for pairs. So she offers up a bustling city beach and a quiet mountain trail. Our traveler takes one look at both of them and knows his answer right away. Neither of those would suit me. He's not interested in option one or option two. Here's the simple rule of thumb for using these words correctly. When you use both, you need a plural verb, like both places are. But when you use neither or either to talk about just one of the two options, you use a singular verb. Neither place suits me. It's a small distinction, but it's one of those things that makes you sound really natural when you're speaking. Okay, so our traveler needs to get a bit more specific about why he didn't like those options. It's the crowds. He wants peace and quiet. To explain this, he's going to start using words that describe quantities without giving you an exact number. And then he says this simple but really powerful sentence, all I want is somewhere quiet.
Now, here, all doesn't mean everything in the entire universe. It means the only thing I want. This is a great example of how these small words can carry a ton of focused emotional weight.
Now, this is a really key distinction. When you're talking about things in general, you just use the word itself. Most hotels provide breakfast. But when you're talking about a specific, defined group, you add of. Most of the hotels in this town. That small addition is what narrows your focus from, all hotels everywhere to just these specific ones right here.
Each and every feel really similar, right? But there's a subtle and super useful difference. Each kind of focuses on the individual items in a group, one by one, like a customs officer checking each passport. Every, on the other hand, focuses on the group as a whole. So when our traveler says, "Every holiday you've mentioned I'd hate," he's making this big, sweeping statement about the entire category of suggestions.
So, where has this whole conversation led? Well, by using all these small but very precise words about possession, about being alone, about quantities and choices, our traveler has successfully painted a perfect picture of exactly what he wants. And that's really the key takeaway here. This isn't just about memorizing a bunch of grammar rules. It's about understanding that these little words are the difference between being vague and being crystal clear. Mastering them gives your ideas real power and helps ensure you get exactly what you're asking for.
And because he was able to communicate so precisely, this is what the agent finds for him. It's not a crowded beach, it's not some generic hotel, it's a quiet, idyllic spot in the countryside, the perfect result of a precise conversation. So I'll just leave you with this question. Whether it's a holiday, a home, or even a job, how would you describe your perfect place? What small words would you choose to make your vision perfectly and precisely clear? Thanks for watching.